Alrighty, Roo, we are live, ready to go. So, guys, welcome. Carl here from Vitruvian Health, your question answerer, who will be helping you along the way. So, if you're on, like it. If you're replaying it, like it as well. Just helps everyone spread the word. Even share it with others, and even comment below with any more questions that you may have. Always here to help. So let's dive into today's Q&A, questions and answers. Well, I will answer a variety of questions that have been put out to me, which are some doozies, which is great, and some nice ones. Some will be quick, some will be short, and some will be long and detailed as we do. So if you're never happy with the answer, ask me for more. So disclaimer, all information from Vitruvian Health in regards to training, nutrition, and therapy is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any health conditions. It is not a replacement for treatment by a healthcare provider. If you have any concerns, please consult with your local GP. If you don't know any health professionals, you can reach out to Dr. Amy Mason. You could speak with, that's funny, I got an email now from Dr. Amy Mason. You've got Kathy in our groups. From Oral, you've got, that's teeth. You've got Dr. Michael Kai. And we've got Janet Lee, expert, coming up. She's the studies coming to finish, which is pretty exciting. So we have a few people that we know. So matter to do, you can obviously see the screen on this side. So let's get started. So number one, what are the benefits of regular exercise? Well, there's a meridian of benefits of exercise. One can be clearer headspace. Two, without frustration. Sometimes I've had people come in and they want to kill people. Hello, viewer. The other one is so you don't kill that person. So obviously it's probably good for other people's sanctity of life. Helps with blood flow, so that can stimulate lymphatic drainage in the body. Fat stores toxins, so if we can get that pumping, so we don't get stagnant. 4, it can improve body composition. It can mobilize fatty acids, so it can help with physique preparation, alongside with nutrition, of course. It can give strength, which builds confidence, and improve posture, so we don't have that postural fatigue. We get nice and proud. Little note to that, though, with like everyone thinks you got to exercise. For example, you can get a stand-up desk, so you can change the way you are in your state. We have an electric one, which is pretty cool. So you can do that. The other thing you can add is you can get a rock mat for releasing your feet. So regular exercise is fantastic. However, for some people, it might not be the go-to right away because you might be in the habit of you're currently working 16 hours a day. Little changes can make a big impact. So regular change is going to help with moving your body. Could even be just reaching those arms overhead and breathing. That could be where you start. So benefits of regular exercise, and also some little things that you can be mindful of. Number 2, what are the best types of exercise for weight loss? There are 0. People talk about deadlifting, it's compound. You can do like a pyramid set or a 6, 12, 25 or metabolic conditioning circuit. That will aid, like, jack up your metabolism. So you're going to burn more energy, so you mobilize more fatty acids. However, the body's smart, so it will restore that fat within 24 hours. You could train your triceps and you can mobilize more fat through that area, and so it gets leaner. But in that 24-hour spectrum, your body will just put fat back there because it wants to stay in homeostasis. So you can do all these lovely exercises and programs, but as long as you're in a calorie surplus, it's not going to cause the weight loss you're looking for. So you do need to be on top of the nutrition. Also, you've got sleep and stress management as well, and gut health. So a few things there to look at. But usually when it comes to, if you're wanting to pair it all together nicely, looking at building baseline strength, stimulate hypertrophy with some high rep work just to get that effect. Utilize some cardio through the week, 2-3 times a week on a low intensity, so just enough to get a light sweat, so you've got a little bit of energy whilst maintaining baseline calories or in a deficit. And that will gradually lead to a weight loss result. Number 3, how much exercise is recommended for good health? We usually recommend 3 to 4 times a week. So 3 to 4 sessions, about an hour at a time. So you've got a good base. We've got about a 10-minute warm-up and then 50-minute session. So you get in and out. I like to just do hours because it's easier. And no, you cannot condense a 1 hour workout into 30 minutes. You can't do it unless you decrease the rest, which compromises form, integrity, which increases risk of injury. Then you can do that. So yes, but if you're just wanting the effect, then yeah, you can just get rid of all your rest, but it will affect your strength and you'll just lift a lot less. What are some exercises for improving flexibility? Training through full range of motion. So a lot of the time when I have people come in and they're training, I find that they don't actually train through full range of motion. So for example, your bicep, so a lot of people will do bicep curls here, short range, because you get a nice peak, you can feel the squeeze. The thing is your arm can actually go behind you. So you should be training the bicep as well in a lengthened state. So training, a way to look at a program would be what any joint, and you can just test it on yourself. You can be like, cool, bicep here. Okay, that is a bicep curl. You do a cable like that. But then you go, okay, what about here? The cable's there, it's a bit hard. Okay, what if I grabbed a barbell? Oh, my body gets in the way. Oh, dumbbell. Oh, dumbbell. Okay, cool. So I could do that on a bench. And then you go, okay, well, what about shoulders? Yeah, okay. So that's the end range of my shoulder, right? So that's that position. Then obviously if I did that or that, that's more shorter. Oh, okay. So you look at, when you're looking at joints, you go, what's the length? And you can feel probably where there's a stretch. So you're just a bit shy of that. And then you think of like other movements for your shoulder, and that would be this shortened position. So in your program, you have a lengthened and a shortened position that you train the muscle. Like a lot of the time when people do quads, they do leg extensions and squats, but they actually need to bring the leg behind them, like split squats, to challenge that end range of the hip flexor and the quad. All right, so that is things you can do to improve mobility and flexibility. You can also do pauses at the end range. So you hold it and control that range the whole time. You can do light stretching, but I tend to recommend doing it at the end of the day because it's a nice way to loosen up the body. So it helps with sleep as well, which will help with recovery, and that'll help decreasing muscle tension, and that'll help with flexibility as well. Next is, what are the best exercises for building muscle? I used to believe that there was some exercises that were ridiculous, but it's because I didn't know actually how to build muscle properly. When it comes to building muscle, there are three, people will say you have to eat in a calorie surplus. You can eat baseline or subtle deficit as long as you have sufficient protein. It's for recovery from amino acids. You can still build muscle, but it's a bit harder. But when it comes to training, the three fundamentals that I believe is progressive overload, so that can come in sets, reps, load, tempo, controlled range of motion, so the ability to stop at any point in time through the movement, so you have complete control, and then no pain. As long as you're continuing to work on those three fundamentals, not push through pain, continue to control the movement, so if you're going up for one, you're going down for three, it's the same every time. That will mean that as you add reps or load, you're stimulating that muscle to hypertrophy, to grow. Now, if you find yourself hitting a plateau, then that's when you could be changing the exercise or the routine. So like we talked about before, we have the short head of bicep and the long head of the bicep when we're curling. You can do little tweaks to that. So you're changing the angles slightly. You don't need to completely change. If you're doing this type of curl, you don't need to go, right, I need to change to an ease bar attachment J hook with band curls. No, you could just change from a cable to a dumbbell. Simple little change like that, and that creates a variation in the muscle. So each time you're lifting, you should be able to add an extra rep or increase the load, and that over time will lead to a growth in the muscle mass. Some may feel genetically they eat so much that they can't grow. Well, you may have what's called a fast metabolism. What that means is you just move a lot more and you burn energy because you fidget a lot of the time. You're just not aware of it. Maybe you drink a lot of water, which suppresses your appetite a little bit. Or you stress a lot, so you just burn through it. So your body requires more. Just be one of those people. 7 years over time, from 70 kilos now up to 105. Partner doesn't give me crap anymore. So it took time to build the muscle mass, but as like anything, like if you think of your body as, think of the body financially as an investment. You can't just get all your earnings. So if you make 60 grand a year, you can't just go, right, I'm going to get all that and I'll put in an investment account right now and that'll grow. It's like, well, cool, you have other expenses. You can't just build muscle. The last thing the body wants to do is build muscle. It's got to think, it's got cognitive recovery, sleep, the physical muscle that you have right now. It's got to repair and heal that. Joint health, gut health. It's got to work on everything. Once everything's in line and on point, then it's going to prioritize building that muscle mass. So it's where they say you can't out-train a bad diet. Well, short-term you can, because it will give you an abundance of calories, but long-term it has repercussions which could affect the gut health, the sleep, the microbiome, and much, much more. So like investment, slow and steady wins the race. And when you get periods of time like holidays where you can get more sleep, get on top of it, really rest and recover, then yeah, capitalize on that and then push a little bit harder to get a little more muscle growth in that time. And then when you get back to the oh my God, brain fart. When you get back to society and you get back to your busy schedule, you just dial it and hold it where it is. What are the best exercises for abs? What workout is best for abs? Training abs, lifting heavy weight. How long should my workouts be? I recommend an hour, give or take. I personally do 90 minutes to 2 hours. I just like having more time to open up and train weak links in the body. How can I measure my progress? Hire a coach, have someone do it for you. Body composition calipers, you can use tape measurements. Came prepared, use a tape measure. So you measure the chest, the waist, so from your belly button, your hips, and your thigh. Doing your own biceps is a little bit hard, but you can test all those, and then each time track weekly. Use progress photos as well, but having someone monitor it for you. And then ask yourself, should I change my training, nutrition, my needs, so how much you move, something in my lifestyle, sleep, meditation rituals, or supplements. Make one of those changes, and then you reflect next week and see how you go. And the idea is to move forward. Sometimes you'll make a mistake. You go, I'll eat chocolate brownies every single day. And then you realize, ooh, that was a mistake. That's totally fine. You've learned from it, move forward from it. What are some good stretches for flexibility? All the ones that feel good. What are the best exercises for toning and strengthening your core? Toning is a really fancy word for indicating that we want to decrease fat mass and we want to put on some muscle mass. Most people are like, I don't want to put on muscle, I just want to tone the muscle. Cool. So you want to keep what you have, but just strip the fat. Like, yes, cool. Well, we need to train that muscle to sustain muscle mass. Because if you don't train the muscle, you don't use it, you lose it. So we want to train actually to build muscle, but we keep our nutrition, rather than a large surplus, we keep it at baseline, working through deficits as well. So we don't build a lot of it. Plus, a lot of the time when people, interesting enough, a lot of people that want to tone, they look at a lot of competitors and they have a lot of muscle mass because you need a lot of mass when cutting for a show. So they actually have quite a lot of muscle mass because they will lose a little bit and they create that shapely figure, which is incredible what they put themselves through. How can I improve my cardio fitness? Pick an activity. We're currently working on a sheet at the moment. So you can just do lots of running, but one thing I like to look at is just activities that create physical demand on the body, like four-wheel driving, dancing, powerlifting, surfing, archery, fencing, rock climbing, sex, bowling, go-karting, shooting, trampolining, bushwalking, group fitness, snow sports, yoga, bodybuilding, horse riding, scuba diving, weightlifting, quad biking, water sports, ice skating, downhill riding, and golf. So something that just gets the body moving is a way to start that. Walking up and down stairs, that'll get you pretty quick. But just starting with something, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and then you just regularly do it and you'll find you'll improve. Then you go a little bit faster, a little bit harder, and just progress week to week. Running is I say it's easy because it's one thing. Swimming, cycling, like the technique, regardless of the techniques, I forget the technique and form, that's important. But if you would just get on a bike, it's literally right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, hold the position. It's consistent, it's easy to monotonous, just zone in on it. When it comes to variety of cardiovascular sports, have a larger technical demand, can be much more challenging. So when you want to improve your cardiovascular fitness, Start with 1 to 2 things, progressively build it from there. You can get a heart rate monitor and track where that's at. What are some good workouts for turning arms and legs? Train arms and legs. When you're wanting to tone arms and legs, the real question is, what should I be doing when I'm training arms and legs? And what you should be doing is working close to failure, not to absolute failure, not relying on itself. Progressively increase the reps, the sets, or the load week to week. Making sure you control the full range of the exercise that you're doing and working through that. A good one would be I like to do supersets, a little more time efficient. So what I would do is short form bicep curl, short form tricep press down, and then I would do like a bicep curl behind. So I think 8 to 12 reps to start with, and then I might do 15 to 20 with the arm behind, and then arm overhead for overhead tricep, 15 to 20, changing the rep ranges. And so I would push those close to failure, get a bit of sweat, and then I would do the same with legs, or I might do leg extension with, say, the hamstring curl, and then I might do lunges because that gets the stretch in the quad, and then lying hamstring curl or back extension. And we do the same thing, 8 to 12 reps, and then 15 to 20, just to change the rep variations there. Pushing close to failure, 3 sets of everything. So that would give me 6 sets on biceps, 6 on triceps, 6 on quads and hamstrings, which would be good. And then from there, evaluate week to week. What can I do? Add an extra rep or 2, or increase the load and demand. So that would be a very nice way for the workout itself. If you want glutes, put that in as well. You could do a glute finisher, or you could do a density method. Density method is where you have an exercise you prioritize. So if you say, Carl, that's great, but you feel glutes, and that's my main thing that I want. But what I would do is every 4 minutes, put a timer on. Hip extension, 10 reps, and then off you go. Start doing exercises. Back over 4 minutes, boom, 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 10 reps. Go back to your workout, back in, and you continue to do that until you finish your workout. So that's a fun one. And as you start, you might, man, I did like 20 sets. But as you become more efficient in the movements and exercises, you'll do less, but then you'll be able to do more as well. Okay. How much water should I drink before, during, and after a workout? Great question. I look at water as a daily thing. So 0.35 to 0.7 times your body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilos, 3.5 liters to 7 liters. Usually I have 1 liter of water. Drink it through the morning. And then I will do another liter of water through my workout. Sometimes I'll do 1.5. Personal preference. Just depends, because some people just don't like water in their stomach. So I tend to like chug it at the start, and then I just sip it through the workout. I just don't like to have a lot of it just sitting in me. It just feels a bit uncomfortable. So I kind of do it before I start the workout, kind of flushes through it, and then I get started. What are some good stretches to do before and after a cardio workout? I don't do stretches before a cardio workout. I prep the muscles and the joints before I start, and then I might do a light warm down, and I do stretches in the evening. Stretching compromises strength, so I don't want to do that, but it does make us feel good and more open. What is the best type of cardio workout for weight loss? The one in the bedroom. And also the one that works. So something that you can repeatedly do, repeated bout effects that allows you to continue to move forward. Usually it's low intermittent steady state cardio, which is where you cause a light sweat. It's not very taxing on the body, and it can be repeated daily. A lot of the time people think it's HIIT workouts or cardiovascular like intensity methods, but the thing is that can cause you to fatigue, and you can't repeat it daily. So though you may burn 600 calories in a 30-minute window, low intermittent steady state cardio, you might burn 600 in an hour, but you can only do the intensity intervals twice. So you burn 1,200. But if I can do steady state every day, I'm going to win. The only challenge is the time. Usually recommend for people, get your phone, do your emails, do your work. It's time efficient. I usually do it on the cross trainer or the treadmill. It'll burn about 5% incline, 4.2 kilometers an hour is about 350, 400 calories. So do that across 5 days. That's 2,000 calories compared to the HIIT, where I would burn 1,200, sorry. How can I make sure I'm not overtraining, risk of injury? Overtraining is a myth in my belief. You're under-recovered. There's only been like 2 cases of overtrained and they're dead. So if you're like, I'm overtraining, you're still alive. You would be poorly recovered is what I would be saying. So the thing is, because I like to look at it as like, someone over there, they're training 6 times a week and I'm training 4 times a week and I'm feeling run down. Why is that? Well, they might not have a job and their job is to train and look phenomenal. Great. So they've got dialed in, but what have you got that they don't have? You might be working 12 hours a day, and that is a form of a load of stress on your body, which requires you to recover. So, those late nights where you're only getting 5-6 hours of sleep, it accrues and builds debt, which, funnily enough, thanks to Mason, she sent me, there's an app called you can try Rise for an extended trial of 30 days. Try. She did say I wouldn't click on it, and I haven't yet, which assesses your sleep and can calculate sleep debt, which is pretty cool. So yeah, check that one out. When it also comes to risk of injury, just doing some correctives, working on weak links, so you don't have an imbalance. It's definitely a game changer that we do at the beginning of our workouts, so you're more engaged and ready to go. What are some good cardio workouts to do if I don't have access to a gym? Walking is a great way to start. We're actually building an ebook on strategies to walk, light mobility drills to open up, get the body going. So like calf raises, quite good, pushing through the toes, dynamic leg swings, just getting everything to open up a little bit. So when you are moving, you're not feeling your back or aches. What are the best exercises for abs? Again, train the abs, lift heavier weights, but also specific drills to yourself. So something you can do if you're like, I'm not sure, is balance on one leg, interlace your fingers together, lift your right leg up, bend the knee. Now, if you fall, wobble to the side, that's probably an indication that the oblique region is maybe the weakest link. If you're falling forward, maybe this is the weakest link. And if you go backwards, it's probably glutes in the back. So work that space. If you're like, I don't get it, send me a video, balance on one leg, bend the knee, come back up, and I'll have a look. How many calories should I consume a day? The number I like to use is 33 times your body weight. So I went 100. 33 times 100 is 3,300. And then minus 20% of that. So 3,300 is the days you train. And then 20% of 3,300, which is simple. Whatever your number is, just go 10%. So if 10% of that was 330, double it, 660. And that's your new number. And that's what you would do on the days you don't train. From that number, you would calculate protein, fats, they're the essentials. 2 grams, 2 times your body weight is your protein. So 200 grams for me would be my protein intake per day, recommendation, the VH way. So that would be 200 grams. I divide that by 4, so that's 50 grams of protein per meal. And then fats is 1 gram per body weight, so 100. So then I put that in the 4 meals. I like to do 2 meals. So like, again, a tablespoon of peanut butter, nut butter at nighttime, and a big helping of butter or olive oil in another meal. Now, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories, so that would be 900 calories for me. Protein is 4 calories, so I would get 800 calories, so that's 1,700 calories in total for just the protein and fat, and the rest would be carbs, and that's how I would start. With consuming food, spread it over 4 meals. I personally like to do 1 shake at 3 meals, but you can work out what's best for you. Alrighty. The next one is, what is the best way to incorporate fitness into a busy schedule? Busy usually means to me time poor. So I would flesh out a 30-minute daily routine or 15 minutes where you look at your day-to-day schedule. I have a feeling I know who this question is from, and this person works 2 jobs. So yeah, busy. But a lot of time when people say busy, it's like, have you got your schedule dialed in 30 minutes? Probably not, because you would definitely find where the gaps are. Usually, it's also just getting to the routine of wake up, get up, go for a walk. First thing I did, like I looked at the calendar for today, and we had the 7 o'clock call, was up at 6, and I looked at Kate and I went, we got to go for a walk, because she's like, I want time together. I'm like, okay, let's go. Just going to close that. So off we go. it's the first thing that we needed to do. We had to get up and go. Sometimes it's just changing that routine to make it work for you. And also when you've done that 30-minute slot, you'll see where there are gaps and you go, cool, there's a 30-minute gap there. I could do something here. There's a 30-minute gap here. Can I adjust my schedule to make it fit? Yes or no? And then there you go. Or hire a trainer from Vitruvian Health and they'll help organize it for you. Is it better to exercise in the morning or the evening? It is best for what works for you and your schedule. Personally, I like to train in the morning. If I want to train in the evening, I'm sometimes a little bit agitated. So I'm not as effective when I train. I actually need a lot more time to just... So yeah, finding out what works for you. However, cortisol, if you were to find out, so cortisol peaks in the morning around 12 till 2 o'clock. It's at its highest and it starts to dip. Usually that's the best time to train because your cortisol stress hormones at its highest, at its peak, and you are rearing ready to go. But it should be a preference and what you know works best for you. Me, mornings. Typically between 7 and 10 because that's when it's quietest. Quieter in the club, about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and so that's when all the equipment's available. Unless your name is Eddie and you usually take my rack in the club when I want to use it. Yeah, look at you, sir. Or, if you're Tammy and you just want to grab a stick and crack me over the head with it. If you're like, what was that about? Comment below and we'll send you the video. It's quite funny. Moving on, how many sets and reps should I do for each exercise? This is a great question because it depends. So number one, how many exercises do you do? Well, when it comes to strength or building muscle, we're looking at about 5 to 10 sets across the body part. So if you're going to train biceps, you want to be thinking about 5 to 10 sets. So for a beginner, we might do 4 to 5. So Kyle, you just said 5 to 10. Why 4? I'd start with 4, get them proficient at a movement, and then 3-4 weeks, then add an extra set. That's what I would do. And I would just build that up over time, take progress photos, change the muscular structure, strength. Strength can happen daily, but in a physique, it takes a few weeks combined with the nutrition. So 2 to 4 weeks, you might start to notice change, but real physical change you're seeing in 8 to 12 weeks. So that's where, 6 to 8 week mark, we then look, assess, bring up the volume, and then off we go. So if you're doing 4 workouts a week, I might do biceps, triceps twice. So that would give me a total, if I'm training biceps twice, 5 sets in each workout, that would give me a total of 10 sets across the week. At the end of that week, I would go, how do we go? Biceps haven't grown. Cool, let's hold in there. We've got to add some more weight, get stronger and more proficient at the movement. Yo, hello. Someone heard biceps? Boom, they're on. Then from there, you can build strength. And when you start to hit that plateau, you go, how's those biceps looking? You might go, nothing's changed. Okay, let's increase the sets now. Let's go for 12 sets. So you're doing 3 and 3, so that's 6. So that makes a total of 12 at the end of the week. And you might then see how you go over the next 6 weeks from there. So you just gradually bring it up. Top rep range, or top set range would be about 30. So you're training it 3 times a week to maximize growth in that muscle. Some people, just genetically, it's not meant to be. So if anyone looks up Michael Pritchard, his biceps are the size of my legs, but my arms are the size of his legs. So guys got great physique, big muscular arms. And when we train arms, guy annihilated me. I think we did 21, 22 sets on biceps. I didn't really feel it. I wasn't really sore. Triceps, 10 sets, I'm done. Some people just feel like the DOMs and the breakdown differently. So for me, I might just, thanks mum, thanks dad. Biceps don't really want to be the biggest game changer. Meow. But triceps, they do. So that's cool. So, 2/3 of my arms looking good, 1/3 pending. Moving to the next one, the suggested one. What is the minimum effective dosage to reach maximum body composition and how would you program it? Ooh, this is a good one. 1, consistency, wake up, sleep, same time. Train minimum 4 times a week, up to 5 or 6. 5 would be good because it's a good number because we can play with times. So you start with 4 and we can titrate it up, which is great. I don't go to 6 straight away. Some people do, but I go 4. reach the plateau. And that's why 5 is good, because you can kind of buffer to that 6. Because I would do 2 upper, 2 lower, and then I would do a weakness day. So whatever the weakness is or what we want to really work, that would allow us to get that 3rd workout in on those body parts. Then find your baseline calories, 33 times your body weight, minus 20% for the non-training days, which is really easy. It's 2 days in the week that you're not training, which also makes for a high fat day. I just double the fats, drop the carbs. And that also works well mentally, because people are like, I can train hard for 3 days, and then I get my fat day, I get to rest and enjoy, recover. So that's how I would start. Start probably at a base of 5 sets per body part, and then titrate up every 4 weeks, or make little changes and adjustments for that person to move forward. And regular photos and body comp fat checks with myself on a weekly to fortnightly basis. Done. Number 2, hypertrophy. Anything we need to know besides, well, screen's cut off a little bit there, that we already are doing. How deep is deep enough, not neglecting the fact as new research is coming up on how to do better with the need for upskill? That's a big question. There is always research coming out, but everyone's like the cutting edge on research, but there's research that conflicts other research. So it's hard to pinpoint. Consistency is key, and making adjustments over time, and also just having a discussion to work out if it is the right fit and time to add that. Thoughts on decreasing volume instead of refeed for athletes? Both are good. Refeed is where we have deviation at a meal, so increase of calories, and a deload I program every 8 weeks at least, just as a place to allow the joints to deload, allow the recovery, and it also allows the body to just rest, reset, because recovery is where the body will adapt. The other time would be a reactive deload, when the athlete comes in, they're just sluggish, and you're just watching the bar speed. It's just terrible. Like, it's like, that's the bar. They're like, yeah, it feels pretty heavy. Cool. We just reactively deload on that exercise, because sometimes some exercise they're killing it, and some they might not, and you just reactively deload on that. Alrighty, Roo. Well, that brings us to the end of our live. So as we do, adios, amigos. Anyone tuning in, have a beautiful day, and thanks for listening. Enjoy.